story of strange creatures.
In reality, they exist for approximately 48 million years, where Neanderthal observed mammals as very tender and loyal animals. But approaching the Ice Age, there were accounts that this wasn't the case, that these creatures by full scales. It could be camouflaged in a very particular way, but in reality they wanted their prey and could then in a brutal way. While the majority of the life in the spruce forest due to their large size and weight they were very remarkable. But still they easily appreciate the prey, and at the end of the day they shared it with their herd. So because of this belief they were the forest kings, but then didn't realize the destruction of the planet Earth was approaching. And the Neanderthals were looking for a way to favor their survival with high hunting rates. Until finally observe how evolution and new conditions on planet Earth affect their lives and become extinct, leaving their throne to the Neanderthals who gradually evolved to be Homo sapiens right now.
Hydra. To begin with, this Hydra was seen by the Greeks. It had never been seen before because it was in the daycares. The day the king saw here, the hin seized for her and killed her. None of the warriors commanded by the king was able to kill her. She was invisible to those warriors. The Hydra found the kingdom and began to kill the people who live in the after kingdom. The kingdom some people managed to save till myself and gold here a long time passed from the event, and those people would manage to save create a new civilization. They began to train stronger warriors than the previous ones to destroy that Hydra. After a few years they sent the warriors one by one to see if they could kill the six-headed Hydra. But there was a problem that if they could of one hit, to more gold growth it was impossible to kill her. People create powerful weapons never seen before to do. They managed to hurt her too much, but not kill her. She seemed immortal, but she had a weakness that no one hit. In order to defeat this snake they had to cut off it to man's head, but not all one hit. Those people stopped fights with the Hydra because they realized that it was impossible to kill her. So they dedicated to bring her food to see if the Hydra became friends with those people, but she tried to hear. Regardless of the happened, the Hydra began to trust Tin. Some time passed and she became friends with Tin. She helped in the battles against the kingdoms, sometimes never seen before, and this two became unstable with this Hydra. For Tin, she becomes a goddess. She accompanied it for generations until they ruled the Enric continent, and after that time, the Hydra decided to go a distant place to spend the rest of her life.
Camille, the protector of the forest. To begin with, we need to understand the forest pain. Cruel humans, hunters, fellers. The earth is suffering and just a kind of angel could save it. Then, from the rocks and the rivers, the plants and the dust, earth gave birth to Camille.
People say she's the protector of the forest, androgynous, beautiful, a savior of the nature, a predator. She did not feel hate or rage, only positive emotions. However, she loves nature and she isn't the capacity of kill whoever tries to hurt her. Moreover, we need to understand why the first part is in past. Here starts the story of Camille. She had a lot of job, and she was suffering every time she killed a human, but it was necessary for the earth, for the justice. Her original form is translucent, a human form as hermaphrodite, long black hair and grey eyes, a majestic being. When she is going to kill, she introduces her self-mind in her prey's mind. She looks for whatever they love desperately, and then she takes its form. The humans are often enraptured. She gets into their heads, grabs them, and destroys them. Their bodies fell in the earth, coming back to her, being composted. Unexpectedly, in a point in the story, she started to feel hate. She came smartest. It was a human fault, a hunter who was looking for the protector of the forest that his best friend used to talk about until he just disappeared. Caleb, the greatest hunter of his town. He was a handsome man, a manipulator, a liar. He came to the forest with his clothes stained with human blood, a fake voice, and a painful expression. Camille saw him and suddenly tried to help. She gave him food and water, and he visited her every day since then. She fell in love. She fell into his trap. She realized it was all a lie the day that he tried to kill her and kill every animal of the forest. His plan was easy: lie to her, make her fall in love, then get revenge of his best friend's death. Of course, Camille had to assassinate her first and only love, while killed her sorrow for the humans. The earth has to expulse humans from her, she thought, and if Earth doesn't do that, I will. Once upon a time, there was an androgynous angel of the earth. She protected the nature, but she could not protect her earth.
You probably don't need much explanation as to why the residents of Papua New Guinea call this a fish a balcutter. Several fishermen have complained that these creepy fish they have the chin of a human person. A fisherman tells the story of a friend of his. For a season, he and his friends went out to fish every day. After a long time of waiting, they took out the hook and did not get a fish. The fisherman tells that his friends, with great frustration and anger, threw himself into the water. His friends, desperate to know about his friends since he did not come out of the water, he also got in it. When they enters the water, he realized that there are 10 fish with a terrifying appearance around his friends, and friend was having everywhere. He gets on the boat to help him get his friends out of the water. when his friend is gone. On SAS, that fish had is his mouth in the tricycle of that one. With the route, he began to hate the fish enter. He realized his friend. Luckily, he did not have serious injuries, but if the cold have. After this, a group of fish investigation girls entered that lake and none of them these fish attack them. It was only the men.
In the world, thousands of years ago, there was a war between the biggest gangs and the government. They fought continuously. Day after day, many people died because of the virus that the gangs invented, the powerful bombs that exploded in the populations, killers in the streets, among others. Unexpectedly, one morning, people and aquatic animals began to die every time they entered the sea and lakes, as if they were infected by some deadly virus, but this time the virus was in the water. After seeing the number of dead people was increasing more and more, the government started to worry and they decided to talk to the laboratories of the world, joining them all in the same place, to give different ideas to finish with the aquatic virus. During the communication, a splendid idea was given, which was to create a strange creature never seen before, that was able to finish with it. While the scientists gave the idea, the government accepted without any about. Scientists got together in the world's largest laboratory. To begin with, they designed a sketch to see what animal genes they will need to put them together and create a strange creature. To begin with, they put together swordfish with crabs and eels, and in between other kinds of unions. But each of these inventions failed, making both the scientists known to be very good. One afternoon, joined their minds and invented a giant creature with teeth that could be as big as a person, the fastest, more agile, and among other qualities. Unexpectedly, the invention of creating this creature worked. The strange creature possessed tentacles with teeth in its suction cups, a shark's head, and a kraken's body. It was the biggest creature ever seen. Its teeth in the tentacles are what serve to finish or eat the virus, without it getting hurt. As soon as they finished with the invention, the creature was released to save people and animals, killing the virus that was killing everything. Finally, they decided to call the creature Caburon.
The Big Bee. At the beginning of the 15th century, there was a dreaded flying beast that roamed the deserts of Africa, hunting spread with its fierce aguijón at and its gigant jaws. The first person who found it was traveler who found remains of beheaded animals, sanctuary the trial, and gold trapped in his cavern trying to hide, but the bee had a good view when they saw it described here known as an insect, if known as ferocious beast. The bee tree, an identifiable liquid on it burned in severely. The bee full outboard him, leave him alone and leave. When he arrived his home of the bee was monster with 13 centimeters, with black, with yellow, with a thick layer of bone, his edged with large and protruding with sharp claws on each of his paws, and he released a noise that disturbed, annoyed, and his mom were he tried the powerful passion that took the traveler who finally managed to help and was able to go to the doctor of his treat his wounds.
Ghost octopus. Once upon a time, there was a ghost octopus that flew the cap, or more accurately, slain the pipe. In one of the best animal escape stories ever, the common Hawaiian octopus at the Sea Life Park, Hawaii, was apparently thinking on his feet when the lid to his tank was left ajar. In the beginning, staff of the aquarium believed that in the dead of night, while the aquarium was empty of people, Ghost discovered that his lid was left open after the tank had been cleaned. Then he apparently made his way down the side of the tank and across the floor more than 10 feet of the drain. From there, in his best prison escape movie maneuvering through a tunnel move, he made his way through 118 feet of pipe that empties to the water of Molas Bay on the east coast of Hawaii. Michael York, national manager of the aquarium, says the octopuses are famous escape artists. But Ghost really tested the water here. I don't think he was unhappy with us, or lonely, as octopus are solitary creatures. But he is such a curious boy, says York. He would want to know what's happening on the outside. That's just his personality. While we may think of the many legged animals as gelatinous floating blobs, they have been felt walking over rocks and sleeping through tiny slots, and their cerebral capacity combined with their agility makes for a curiously cunning critter. At the Island Bay Marine Education Center in Hawaii, reports The Guardian, an octopus was found to be in the habit of visiting another tank overnight to steal crabs, then returning to its own, all in a next world. York says that Ghost was an unusually intelligent octopus. He was very friendly, very inquisitive, and a popular attraction here. We have another octopus, Plashy Bat. He is smaller than Ghost, and Ghost had the personality. Finally, Ghost came to the aquarium via a fisherman who caught him in a crayfish pot, and while the center is not actively looking for a replacement, they see that if a fisherman delivers another, they might take it in. You never know, says York. There's always a chance Ghost could come home to us. Inclusion people from the aquarium want Ghost to come back. He's really important for them. We hope he's okay wherever he is now.
The Bloop. Tell the story that deep in the ocean, in 1997, researchers listening for underwater volcanic activity in the southern Pacific recorded a strange, powerful, and extremely loud sound. Using hydrophones or underwater microphones that were placed more than 3,000 kilometers apart across the Pacific, they recorded numerous instances of the noise. which was unlike anything they had heard before. Not only was it loud, the sound had a unique characteristic that came to be known as the bloop. Scientists from NOAA's Pacific Marine Environmental Laboratory (PMEL) were eager to discover the sound's origin, but with about 95% of the ocean unexplored, theories abound. Was the bloop from secret underwater military exercises, ship engines, fishing boat winches, giant squids, whales, or some sea creature unknown to science? As the year passed, PML researchers continued to deploy hydrophones ever closer to Antarctica in an ongoing effort to study the sounds of seafloor volcanoes and earthquakes.
Jormungand. Jormungand, also called the Midgard serpent, is a snake or dragon who lives in the ocean that surrounds Midgard, the visible world. He is so enormous, his body forms a circle around the entirety of Midgard. He is one of the three children of Loki and the giantess Engbora, along with Hel and Fenrir. The god Thor is his particular enemy. We can better appreciate his story below. Initially, the giant sent Thor to look for some fishing bait. The young god returned with the heads of the Hymir's remaining bulls. After that, Thor used his divine strength to quickly get them to the Hymir's fishing spot. It turned out that bull's head was an excellent bait. Hymir was in a good mood as he managed to catch 2 whales in a short time. However, Thor was not fishing but merely staring into the horizon, and he annoyed Hymir. Unexpectedly, Thor started rowing further into the ocean. Hymir was becoming more and more nervous, and he reminded Thor that they were entering Jormungand's home ground. The god of thunder kept rowing, carefully looking at the wave around them. Finally, Thor stopped the boat. He took the biggest hook, placed a bull's head onto it, and his legendary fishing adventure was about to begin. A few moments later, something pulled Thor's line so hard that he barely managed to stay on the boat. In no time, the young god recovered his composure and started reeling in his catch. Hymir noticed how Thor was using all of his divine strength to bring his catch out of the water. The giant knew that only one creature in the ocean was powerful enough to test the young god. It had to be Jormungand. Suddenly, Jormungand's head emerged out of the water, and the god of thunder reached for Mjolnir. In a blink of an eye, the giant took his knife and cut the fishing line. Immediately, the world serpent drove back into the depths of the ocean, created enormous waves that nearly destroyed Hymir's boat. In the end, Thor was so angry and he threw the giant into the ocean. The young god rowed back to the shore and left their fishing catch in front of Hymir's house.
The true origin of the unicorn. At the beginning of the times, the world was inhabited for 2 bands, the angels and demons. They lived together in only one kingdom, but that ended due to selfishness. One day, the dark beings, already tired of sharing their home with the angels, start to create a plan for banish them and could govern. Fears of all the demons had to create a fake leader to can be the winners of the fight. Using black magic, they made a huge monster, so a big, powerful with skills to kill his opponents. That horrible monster had 3 eyes to can see everything everywhere, large arms with tongues to crush, and the most notorious characteristic was a hook in front of his face to break through into the angels' bodies and steal their souls. After having the great unicorn, that was the best name, they proclaimed the war to the other group. The angels seemed helpless, but actually they had big weapons and knew all the demons' weaknesses. At the moment of the war died a lot of creatures of the two different groups, but something unexpected happened. An older witch angel attacked the unicorn by the back, killing him with a sword with the same material of his horn. After defeat, the demon fled from the land. Finally, the angel take the big unicorn and remade and turning it in the beautiful horse that we know at present.
Gory Wolf. At the beginning of the year 1914, during the month of April in a small town in Romania, some people heard some very strange sound. In short, the very well, an alpha wolf. A few hours later, around 6 in the morning, the strange noise followed. What caused curiosity was a man named Robert, who lay alone since the death of his wife. Set out with nothing to do, he was thinking about his wife. Next, he did not sleep almost, for which I can hear the strange sound that almost all the people hear. The man to think of sometimes else just to find out what it is that made those sounds. He did not leave his house and went to a mountain. I thought the noise was coming. When he arrived at the place, he noticed that the sound that was heard from his house came from a valley going to down the mountain. So he used the seer to observe what was making such noise, since the mountain was very inclined. When he was at the top of the mountain, which by the way, the mountain was not that high, he decided to watch to see what was making so much noise. Robert saying what it was that made so much noise was shocked, since it was a gigant monkey glass. After that event, Robert did not get into strange situation again.
Greenish Purple Monster by Maria Andrea Chamun. During the year 180, there was speculation about the creature that was in the deepest ocean, a creature of darkness. He feared nothing. If his territory was invaded, he has no mercy to disappear everything around him without a trace. This is not only a myth people saying that I did not live it, but many said that it exists. So start with talk about his horrible appearance. His children are totally black, sharp and pointed teeth for his mouth, and a sticky jaw that adheres to everything. Comes out. His size is extremely large. His color is purple and green. This creature is said to have been called a greenish purple monster because of colors. The greenish purple lives in the dark places. It does not like the light. It feeds on large ocean animals. It calls it an even and whale. It is said that more than 150 boats with passengers on board have disappeared. After catching their prey, it disappears all around in order not to leave traces. Everything happened suddenly. If you don't know what your exact territory is, just where he wants to sleep. Nobody should go through there. Unexpectedly, you feel that they were attacking you. Everything is an enigma. The baby is approximately 118 years old and more enters your mouth than you imagine. while the sheep believe it is safe the greenish purple attacks. Finally, no one has managed to survive. We use life on what is said about the greenish purple.
Testral. To begin with, at the end of the 20th century, in the town of Virginia Water in England, there lived a young woman who was passionate about magic. Her name was Luna, and she was 16 years old, and already the most beautiful young woman in the whole town. With blue eyes, blonde hair, and ice white skin, Luna all his life had believed that magical creatures existed in the world, but for some reason he could not see them. Luna spent a lot of time in the library reading all kinds of books that had to do with magic. Luna's mother always insisted that magic did not exist and all that was pure fantasy of his imagination. One day, Luna asked herself why she never found information about the fact that magic really existed. She had already searched every corner of the library, until she remembered that there was a section that she had not been able to enter, the forbidden section, in which only adults were allowed to enter, and for this Luna had to wait even 2 more years. But Luna didn't want to wait any longer, and suddenly, that same night, she went to sneak into the forbidden section. When she went in, she saw a lot of bugs. She started to look quickly at the bugs. She was almost running down the corridor when she stumbled, and with her fell a lot of bugs, especially one of her head. The blow was not very strong, so Luna could get up quickly, and she looked at the book. She saw that it was about a quite peculiar subject. It talked about some creatures called Testral. There was not much information about them. There was only one paragraph in the book. It said, "These winged creatures, which look very much like skeletal horses, are invisible, except to those who have seen someone die. Therefore superstition say that they bring bad luck and cause all sorts of misfortunes to those who see them." As Luna read this, she heard a noise. It was a girl who had heard the bags fall and was going to the place where Luna was. She quickly managed to escape and go home quickly. Then, the next morning, Luna told her mother about this. She scolded her, telling her once again that magic doesn't exist and that she shouldn't be thinking about such nonsense. Luna got angry. She answered her mother, saying that because she was so bitter that Daddy left them and now they are alone. Immediately Luna ran out of her house, without even turning around to see her mother, who had a face. Unexpectedly, her mother went running after her, and crossing a street, Luna heard a passing truck start beeping. She turned around and saw her mother being run over by the truck. Luna could not believe what she saw. She had seen her own mother die in front of her eyes. After this, Luna stayed at a friend's house, but she spent most of the time alone. One night, looking at the window, she saw that a king of black horse was passing through the forest. Luna blinked to see if she was saying well, and not at all. She continued to see that black horse. At that moment, she remembered what she had read some time ago in the forbidden section of the library, about a creature that resembled horse and is black. Without thinking twice, Luna left her friend's house and went to the place where he had seen that creature. When he noticed another detail, that creature had wings. Luna approached the animal and touched it on the head. Unexpectedly, at that time Luna heard that someone was coming, and the Testral left from there quickly. Then Luna returned to her friend's house. Then Luna told her friend what she had seen, and convinced her to return to look for them that night. And so it was. At nightfall, the two went out to the forest, which was where Luna had seen the Testral. As he went a little further into the Luna forest, he began to hear a voice, which reminded him of what he had read in the book. The Testral bring a luck and cause misfortune to those who see them. He heard that voice repeatedly until he found a Testral. As soon as he saw it, he began to caress it and told his friend to see it. She told him that she did not see anything, and that it was starting to scare her. At that moment, Luna decided to ride the Testral and asked her friend if she believed him already. The only thing she saw was Luna floating. Then she started to tell her that she was a phenomenon and started to run. And before she knew it, her friend was lost in the forest. Luna stayed for a while the Testral, and when she returned to the village, she noticed that there were a lot of police in the middle of the street, and there was her friend mother crying inconsolably. When she saw Luna coming, she went after her, pushing her until she fell to the group and asked her what she had done to the down girl. Luna didn't understand what she was going through, so she went to see what everyone was watching. Her friend was on the floor. She was missing limbs from her body, and she was without one eye. Luna was very scared, and she began to deny that what was happening was real. The policemen who were there noticed that she had a strong attitude, so they went to talk to her for questioning. But suddenly, Luna ran into the woods, and the policemen went after her. They never found her. Luna found the Testral again and ran on one of them. She even heard that voice in her midst which repeated the same things. The Testral bring bad luck and cause misfortune to those who say them. She was going crazy. She heard some people who were close to her. She looked at them and fell away with the Testral. Finally, Luna was never found, and all her friends' family and Luna's own family her found dead some time later, all in the same way, without their limbs and without an eye. Only now they all had something in particular. On their left cheek they had a seal which said Luna Lovegood.
Star-nosed mole. Once upon a time there was a strange creature named Star-nosed mole. All the things that got close to his nose were eaten by him. Everybody was so scared. They thought he was going to eat them. But what they didn't know was that it wasn't his fault. He didn't decide who he wanted to scarf. To begin with this amazing story, we have to take into account that he was extremely noble. He helped other people even if everyone thought they were going to be devoured. He didn't have friends, so he was lonely all the time. As soon as he started to feel sad, this star-nosed mole decided to leave home and start a new journey. He walked a lot and he could see the rudeness of all the sea animals. Everyone looked at him like he was abnormal, even though he didn't feel like a strange creature.
but with the passing of the years, he started to believe he was a weird animal. One day, he met a beautiful whale. He fell in love with her. She was really beautiful and he thought she wouldn't even look at him. Unexpectedly, she fell in love with his particular sternest mole. It was incredible because everyone always thought he was ugly and strange. They decided to have children that were very particular. They were different from the other sea creatures. It is good to be unique in an environment of equal creatures. The end.
The Chimera. Fears of all, this is animal or monster, as they call it ingrained mythology. She was said to be the dagger of Tibon and Shinnet, and to roam the region of Asia Minor. There are fin popular and eating here's an animal. But in the end, the truth is that this animal was not as every thought. I had the opportunity to meet him at the beginning. It was very scared. He was not used to dealing with humans because every time a human approached him, it was to harm him. The legend said that the persons who found a chimera should kill him or remove some of their hairs. If he used it, he could become a good. Each time he was a monster at night. He went hunted and scared. It was a very powerful animal. The night I found him, he was wounded since a human and trying to pull him down. When I saw him, I was scared. He had an ass sting in one of these 3 hairs. He wanted to attack me but could not because one of these hairs was paralyzing. When the man who only wanted to help him came out like a small lava from his limbs ate. I held him and knew it was hard. He could turn another into wood, so he would kill him. But people used wanted to pull him. From that moment, I began to see him at night in the dark forest. One night I didn't see him in the forest. It was one night after night for a whole month, but from the night he told me that he had another mission in his life. I never saw him again. I think maybe they went to this war of the was called or the huge revolution a better life.